Remember, we're working on the premise that mental health depends on two factors in the human brain, one of which is fixed and the other is variable. 2 sessions ago, we looked at the variable component, which are basic beliefs acquired over a lifetime. And last time, I gave you an overview of the fixed component, which I refer to as inborn intentions, which are 4 intrinsic behavioral goals that we would move toward if it were not for basic beliefs that influence us to go against them. Today our focus is going to be on the most important of these inborn intentions, which is human dignity. It's important to have a good understanding and definition of what human dignity is. Basically, it is a composite of a number of factors that we as human beings possess. Everyone has them, and they're expressed differently in each one of us, but nevertheless the capacity for each one of them is intrinsic to us. Such factors as consciousness itself. We have a number of levels of consciousness. We have the capacity for rational and abstract thought. No other animal that we know of has anything like abstract thought. We can use both spoken and written language to communicate. We have dexterity. We have this opposable thumb that we can use to begin by making tools and then continue on with our construction, our dexterity ability to do marvelous, marvelous things. Another quality or characteristics that contributes to our human dignity is the fact that we have foresight and the ability to plan ahead. We have a wide range of emotions. We have the ability for introspection, to look inside ourselves, to understand, or attempt to understand at least, what is going on internally and mentally. We have a conscience. We have the ability to use mathematics. And as an extension of that, we can have defined some basic premises around physics and chemistry and the physical world around us, giving us an understanding of our environment that is just not open to any other of the species. We have a concept we can conceive of, time and space. There are some individuals that have a concept of something called time-space, but that is beyond my level of comprehension. But wait, there's more. We have humor and ability to laugh at ourselves and others and what we think is funny. We have trust, gratitude, loyalty. We have an aesthetic sense. We have faith. We have hope. These are some marvelous, marvelous qualities. All of these taken together, the composite of them justifies the claim that we as human beings have something called human dignity. Human dignity is based on these and perhaps a few other qualities that I haven't mentioned. Nevertheless, these are some of the important ones. Have you ever asked yourself now, who am I? Perhaps we've all wondered about that at one time or another. Regardless of what you have thought previously, I submit that a perfectly adequate and simple answer is, I am a human being with human dignity. That's all that you need to understand who you are. And when you understand that and believe it and begin to act on it, life is improved with that improvement in your mental health. When you think about all these qualities, the composite of which makes up our human dignity, it's important to realize the things that are not a part of human dignity. Anything that varies between human beings is not a part of human dignity. Whether you're male or female, Russian or American, the color of your skin, your nationality, none of that matters as far as human dignity is concerned. No variable can influence your human dignity. Material possessions do not identify who you are. If you're sick or growing old, does not detract from your worthwhileness. And neither the love nor the loss of another person can add to or detract from your personhood. A very important concept to bear in mind is that variables do not affect your human dignity. When you understand this and when you accept this in yourself, you will no longer be it will no longer be possible for another person to cause you to question yourself, to denigrate you, or to make you feel like less than a person. What is important is your belief in these qualities that you have within yourself, whether you recognize them or not. They're there to be gotten in touch with. That said, the expression of each one of these qualities can and will vary between individuals. It's not the extent to which we express them so much as it is that we have the capacity for them that is important. And if we are not expressing them as well as we should or need to or would like to, then we can develop that. As you can develop your physical body with exercise and diet and rest, and to improve your overall health, you can improve your mental health by coming into agreement with these concepts of this concept of human dignity. The capacity is always there. Human dignity is permanent. It is immutable. Regardless of what we think about ourselves, whether we are in tune with our own human dignity or not, it remains there inviolate. It cannot be diminished as long as you draw breath. You may very well fall away from it consciously. You may act differently. You may act contrary to it. You may treat others as if they did not have human dignity. But the fact remains that it is still there, regardless of whether it is expressed or not. We have no substitute for appreciating our own human dignity. It is going to be there, and it will be there, and it will last forever. This concept of human dignity may very well be difficult to get your mind wrapped around, to understand what it is and to recognize it in yourself, because many of us have been brought up with the idea that our worthwhileness depends on our behavior. I saw a cartoon once, High and Lois, I believe. She was talking to her little child, and the little boy asked his mother, Lois, said, "Do you still love me?" And she responded by saying, "What did you do now?" The idea of our love, our respect for our own children being dependent on their behavior is something that is built into us from very early on. So it may be difficult to get your mind wrapped around, as I said, this concept of human dignity. Nevertheless, it is essential to do so if you are going to improve your mental health. Mental health is unique among the four inborn intentions because it is the only one that does not depend on or need be influenced by the outside world. You are perfectly free to believe in your own human dignity regardless of what you've done or what you have not done or what other people think what other people say, do, you can believe in your own human dignity. It is not a matter that is open to destruction or compromise by somebody else if you choose to believe in it. I enjoy believing in my own human dignity, and you either join me in that now, or you will when you come to accept your own human dignity. But there's a catch. If you and I have human dignity, it is manifestly impossible for us to accept or believe that other people do not also have human dignity. If you and I have it, then so does everybody else. And as such, it is deserving of respect within ourselves. We need to respect our own human dignity, and we need to respect that in other people. Regardless of all else, we need to pay attention to and respect the human dignity of others. There is no logic to suggesting or believing or fooling yourself into thinking that you have human dignity and at the same time attempting to destroy it or compromise it or minimize it in someone else. It doesn't work that way. If you and I have it, so does everybody else. So there you have an overview of the concept of human dignity. It's extremely important, necessary if you're going to make strides on improving your mental health. Okay, so it's time to move on now, but you know I couldn't leave you without an assignment. The idea this time is for you to think about and make a few notes, jot them down, keep them in your file. What is your own concept of yourself? How would you define yourself? How would you define yourself before you watch this lecture? If you can go back to that. But I'm not suggesting that you make a change in that now to bring yourself more in alignment with this human dignity. Just where do you stand right now? It's very unlikely that you have, it's possible, but it's unlikely that you've had an epiphany and suddenly changed just because of watching this lecture. We'll be discussing how to make those changes a little bit later. But for now, write down what you think about yourself. Pay attention to variables. Is it possible for you to define yourself without including any variable, anything that would be different between you and another individual? An interesting exercise, and we'll see where it leads us. Okay, that's it for now. Next time we'll take up the other three inborn intentions, that is sense of accomplishment, freedom of choice, and love. Until then, remember to make mental health a top priority. Take care.